Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Bonms. I'm Ross. Let's jump right into it. Okay, I have my tablet here just to kind of, peek at a few topics that I would like to talk about. And if you clicked on this video, you already know why you're here. Let's talk about the importance of credit. The first thing I want to give you 5 tips on how to not only build your credit, but also elaborate a little bit more on the importance of credit. So the first thing that I would like to share with you, to say to you solely on credit, is be an adult and pay what you owe. And what I mean by that is simply that: pay what you owe. If you are agreeing to this amount of money over this duration of time, even if it's the minimum, which I will talk about in a few more points on why you shouldn't pay the minimum, but even if it is the minimum, pay what you owe. Be responsible. Go in with the mindset of, I am acquiring this amount of money. And I know some things happen, such as foreclosure, just unfortunate events happen within life. However, being irresponsible is not an unfortunate event. It's just you being just that. One of the biggest things that comes to mind when I'm talking about this particular topic, and I won't go into detail or depth about it, but just to kind of give you an understanding of what it is that I'm talking about: student loans. If you're going to take out student loans, perfectly fine, but be responsible. If you're going to go to college, perfectly fine, but be responsible. I understand that you might not know your major going into it. However, kind of know an idea of what it is that you would like to do with your profession, with your career. But what I mean by this, for an example, that a lot of times that we're not being adults when it comes to higher education, college, we're using this as a pathway to experience life for the first time outside of your parents' roof. And that's the worst thing you can do, because 9 times out of 10, those people, those individuals are not going to, or don't desire to, pay their debt back. They use it, leverage, got out of my parents' house, was able to get dorms and do whatever it is that I wanted to do, experience this, took out all of these loans. But in their mind, deep down, they really knew, like, I'm not going to pay this back. Especially if you're going undecided and you have no fire or passion or direction towards any financial literacy, or how you just want to get out of your parents' house. That's the worst thing that you can do. You have to be an adult. And I'm just using this for example, not saying that college is a bad thing by far. It is a great thing. But however, if you have the mindset that I am only using this to get out of my parents' house, get under their roof so they kind of know where I am, and I don't know how I'm gonna pay it back, I don't plan on paying it back, that's a terrible thing to do. That's a terrible decision. And the reason why, it not only affects you, but it also affects how the economy works, because those would be the very people saying, forgive student loan forgiveness, student loan forgiveness. Those would be the people protesting. But wait, you want people that didn't, because there's no such thing as student loan forgiveness. You lived on campus, which costs money. You didn't have to pay a dime. However, you were collecting this debt. You ate on campus, collecting this debt. Countless other things that you did on campus that you agreed to, that you personally agreed to, collecting this debt. There's no such thing as student loan forgiveness. No, that has to be paid back. So what happens is someone has to pay it back. So you want to live for free for 4 years, do whatever it is that you want, eat the way you want, no responsibility at all. And then you sit up on Capitol Hill or protesting anywhere and saying, forgive our student loans, when you racked up 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 in student loans, and you have no desire to pay it back, and you want people to just wipe that away. That's going to ruin the economy. And the reason why is because that has to be paid back. And you want the taxpayers to pay back 4 years of you just doing whatever it is that you want. And unfortunately, half of the time you didn't even take school serious. And this is not for everyone. But however, This is what Bonms is about. It's about if you decided to sign on the dotted line and to engage in this loan process, you need to be an adult and you need to pay your loans back. Moving along to step number 2. The better your credit is, the lower your rates are. And I mean interest rates. So obviously, as I mentioned in the title, which I'll get to later on down, how bad credit is better than no credit at all. It's always good to have good credit. And it goes back to step 1. Be an adult, pay off your loans, pay off your debt. And if you realize, if you're coming in as an adult, like, wow, this might be a little bit too much for me to pay, you might be a commuter, or you might go to a school that's giving you a better opportunity as far as scholarship wise. You're not just going to say, I'm going to go across the world and I'm going to live it up for the next 4 years. Knowing that you're not going to, if you are approaching this strategically, financially, with some type of form of financial literacy, because the first form of credit that you receive as an 18-year-old or 17-year-old, 9 times out of 10, or 19-year-old, whatever age you're going to college, that's usually your first form of credit, and you don't even know it. You don't even have a credit card, maybe a debit card, but you don't even have a credit card, but they will allow you to get this extensive, extreme line of credit at 18 years old. So we need for you to be responsible. They're not going to tell you to be responsible because they're banking on the fact of the matter that they're going to get you on the back end with interest rate that accumulates 12 months, 13, 14, 15 months after you graduate. And you forget about that half the time. You want to know why you forget about it? Because you've been living up for 4 years. And then you get this notice saying, okay, bam, you're being charged 35 cents of interest per day. 12 cent of interest per day. And guess what? On 100,000, 200,000, 50,000, 60,000, 40,000, 20,000, or however crazy this loan is. So it's like you can't pay the minimum. However, this is back to step 2. Better credit, lower rates. It is important that we work on our credit because there are going to come times where you might want to be a homeowner. You might want to get a vehicle. You want those lower rates. So work on your credit. How do you work on your credit? Get things that you can manage. Smaller loans. If you get a credit card for $200 a month, you should spend maybe 40, 50 bucks. And the reason why, spend 40, 50 bucks, just for the sake of this, just a quick little side note to build your credit up quickly. If they even allow you to have this. It's funny that they'll run your credit to get a credit card with a bank, but you can go take out a crazy loan to go to school irresponsibly. That's insane. But lower rates. Let's get back to how to build your credit. This quick side note, we're going to get back to step number 2. $200 credit card. Spend 40, 50 a month. 40 or 50 a month. Pay off 35. Don't pay the minimum. Never pay the, no, don't pay the minimum. Don't pay the minimum. Because if you spend 45, 50 bucks, they're going to say, hey, just your statement balance or your minimum is $5. Or no, don't pay the minimum. Go ahead and pay 30 bucks back. Go ahead and pay 35, 40 bucks back. But leave a $5 balance. And what that shows them that not only will you pay your balance back each month, on top of that, they're looking at it like, oh, we can gain interest because their money is rolling over. It's not just entirely paid off. You don't want to pay off your debt entirely, especially in the beginner stages when you're building your credit. You want to leave a balance to roll over, not a significant balance, not a big balance, but you want to leave it over. But that brings us back to level 2. Point 2, better credit, lower rates. And what I mean by that is the better your credit, the lower your rates. It's just that simple. So if you walk into to get a loan, hold on one second. If you walk in to get a loan, the better your credit is, the lower your rates. It's just that simple. You walk in, they run your credit, you get a better rate. And not only that, you have a little bit more negotiation power. Obviously, you're not going to be able to buy a vehicle if you're just now getting approved for a $200, because a few more things come to play. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. We want to talk solely about credit, better credit, lower rates. If you want to buy a home, depending on the mortgage rates nationally, with better credit, somebody might say, hey, we're willing to let you borrow money. We're going to get a little bit on the back end. We'll drop this interest rate, because you can go to a private lender, and they'll say, hey, listen, nationally it's going for this rate, but we'll give it to you for this, or 15-year fix, 10-year fix, 30-year fix, whatever it is that you agree on. But the better your credit, the lower your rates. And the same is applicable for cars, vehicles, motorcycles, four-wheelers, businesses, rental properties, anything. Always try to work on your credit. And it goes back to step number one, or point number one, be an adult, pay off what you owe. Now let's go to three. Three will help you with two. And it'll also simultaneously build your credit at the same time. And it doesn't burn you in the long run with paying an excess amount of interest. Never pay the minimum. Never. And the reason why you don't want to pay the minimum is because, quite frankly, you'll be paying interest. Sure, you probably can pay it all off at one point in time, and maybe not. But even if you can pay it off at one point in time, stretch it out. For example, let's say you go into the dealership, you get an entry-level vehicle. Entry-level vehicle, sub $20,000. Let's say plus tax, docking fees, and all these things, it brings you up a little bit over $20,000. However, you got pretty good credit. So to give you a good interest rate, a good loan, that's step two, because you've been working on your credit. You've been listening to Bonms. So now here comes the payments. Your payments are about to get ready to come out. What do? You don't pay the minimum. Sure, you could, but you don't pay the minimum. As a matter of fact, you might want to pay the minimum starting off, but you don't have to. Let's say you take out a loan for 72 months, which is 6 years to pay back $24,000 vehicle. That brings you to around a little bit under $400 a month. What I would suggest, in order to prevent paying interest in a long haul, or paying more than what you borrowed, be a little bit more aggressive eventually on your payments. You can start off aggressive and pan it out, or you can start off with the minimum and get aggressive on the back end. And what that'll do, that'll save you money in the long run. That's why you never pay the minimum. You always, always ask, is there a prepaid penalty? Meaning, if you pay more, will you be penalized for that? And they say no, you go at it. And you give yourself, the reason why I said a 72 month or whatever, maybe 5 years, but let's just say for the sake of this example, 72 months, you give yourself wiggle room to where you don't have to pay what you would have to pay if you agreed to 48 months, 36 months, 24 months. That's pretty extensive type of money that you would have to bring forth. So you can stretch it out, but then you can still pay aggressively as if you are on that fixed agreement to begin with. You can pay that 72, you can agree to 72, give yourself some wiggle room, but you can pay it off if you want as if you are on a 48, but you still have that flexibility, that freedom to where like, I don't want to spend that much on that this month, but you have the freedom and the luxury to do that because you thought ahead of time. So that's how you prepare yourself to win in the long run. 72 month is what you agree on. However, you get aggressive. You pay it off in 56. You pay it off in 50 months. You pay it off in 45 months. You pay it off in 48 months. You pay it off in 32. I don't know. You just pay it off as your funds begin to increase because you're making the right decisions. Never pay the minimum, because for that same car that you agreed upon, $22,000, $23,000, if you pay the minimum for that duration of 72 months, you're going to be spending close to $5,000 in interest. That's money that you could be in your pocket, you can be investing, or it can be going towards another thing. But never pay the minimum, pay your bills on time so you can build that credit simultaneously. And then that'll level you up for your next step. Potentially want to buy a property because you were responsible, you were an adult with your bills because you paid off. They're not just going to let you borrow $200,000, $180,000 and you've never $5,000, $30,000. Not levels. Don't skip a step. And then now they're looking at like, okay, this person paid this off. we'll give them a bigger loan because they're thinking that, well, surely they're not going to be able to pay this off faster than they are expecting. But you take that 30-year, 15-year fix, however you want to do it, and eventually you start getting aggressive towards your payment so you can pay that principal off. And then bam, you pay that house off, or however you want to work it out. You want to put some tenants in it, whatever it is that you want to do. But it's all about, we only want to focus on credit and the importance of it. Never, ever, ever pay the minimum. Never, never. You can start off with paying the minimum, but don't finish paying the minimum. You can start off paying aggressive, which will give you a little bit of luxury in the back end to pay the minimum. But for the entire duration of that loan, never pay the minimum because you will be paying more in interest. Moving along to point number 4. Point number 4 is buy entry-level assets. That is very important because that goes back to the example that I just gave in point 3. Buy entry-level assets to build credit and have something tangible. For example, like I mentioned, the car. So this is right on top. Pretty much everything I just said is applicable for point 4. Get an entry-level vehicle, especially in today's time. This is the perfect time in 2024 going into 2025 to get an entry-level vehicle if you are in need of a vehicle. And the reason why, because as we see now, inflation is going up, the cost of living is going up. Get you an entry-level vehicle, sub 20K if you possibly can. If you're in search of a new vehicle, live below your means at this particular time and moment. Get your finances in order because life is getting expensive, as we know, as we see. The grocery stores are going up. Gas is going up. Rent is going up. Property taxes are going up. You might have a fixed mortgage, but property taxes is going up. Insurance is going up. So therefore, save yourself a burden. You can always upgrade your car when things are paid off, when you kind of get a gauge of how things are going financially. And the more you are improving and you're building your credit, you are able to have more wiggle room and you are able to be point 1, an adult, and pay things on time. You don't have to go get a side gig or side hustle just to pay this and just to pay that. It's taking you from being who you naturally are designed to be. And that's a person, if you're watching this video, you are a person that's looking for other opportunities to not only invest your money, but prepare yourself or have extra money left over to invest. That's what it's about. So point number 4, buy entry-level assets. That can even be a home. You don't need a big home. Not starting off. You can level that up. It might not be in the best neighborhood at this particular time moment. It's fine. It's not permanent. It's not forever. It's entry level, not exit level. So this allows you right now. We are all in Bonms right now. Come in. We're together. We're all entry level. Let's do this together. Let's do it right. And how do we do it right? We prepare ourselves for the future. It's okay. We might have made financial mistakes, but right now, this is a new mindset. We're not thinking about things of the past, things of yesterday. We're thinking forward. We're looking forward. So you might have had a bigger house. It's okay to downsize. We have to get out of this state of mind that we are so ego driven and egotistical to where I can't. I had a Mercedes. I can't go to a Toyota. Yeah, you can. No one cares. Let me tell you, they're struggling with their bills as well. And if you have financial literacy, you don't even care. Do what's best for your finances so you can recalibrate. You have people like, I can't think of his name, Dave Ramsey. He talks about how many times he's went bankrupt, but now he's a multimillionaire because he didn't care. He recalibrated. He came back. He repivoted. Life is about pivoting. You cannot, another video that we just recently dropped, the luxury of letting go. Let go of that ego. Let go of that state of mind. Let go of that I can't be caught in nothing. This fictitious, fabricated, materialistic life. No, you have to come back to ground one, because if you really learn financial literacy, you wouldn't be thinking about how people perceive you when you need to be an adult. You need to pay your bills. You need to have better credit. You don't even know not to pay the minimum, because in the long run, why are you driving a Mercedes if you can't afford it? And you might be able to pay your bill, but Can you afford it? Can you afford to pay it off 2 years early, 3 years early? But why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why not? So you can free up some more money to invest. That's what you would be able to do that with an entry level vehicle. And quite frankly, no one cares what you're driving. Only you. You think they care what you're driving. But that's for another topic. And that brings us to point 5. With buying entry level things such as a car or a home, that allows you to level up. You're learning things, you're saving, you're paying things off, you're building your credit simultaneously. And not only that, that allows you now, for this example, you're able to turn that entry level home into a rental property, because you did two things. You build your credit, you own something. You can do 3 things. I'll say 5 things. You build your credit. You were able to afford it. You were able to build equity, gain equity. So now, and you were also able to save more money to put to the side on top of the equity into that home. And you have been able to combat inflation. So now you can take the equity out of that particular property. You can take what you've been saving because you've been living below your means while building your credit, and you can go buy a upgraded home, a level up home, and you can rinse and repeat, and you can put tenants in that particular property, give a roof over someone else's head, and now you have passive income. It might be an extra $100 a month. It might be an extra $200-$300 a month. But you have someone assisting with the payments of your mortgage because you took the proper steps to building your credit. So all this is accessible to you if you build your credit. And the reason why, bonus gem for the day, and then we'll end this video. The reason why I mentioned bad credit is better than no credit. No credit means they don't know who you are. You don't exist in the financial world. They're like, who are you? You are a John Doe. So they're really, now it's going to take time. They got to see you try and fail before they would even consider loaning you something. However, but if you have bad credit, you'll just have higher rates. They might not lend you that much, but you have an opportunity to correct it, to build it, to improve it. You'll have higher interest rates, but they still give you an opportunity to fix what it is that you might have prematurely messed up in your adolescence, in your younger age, not knowing and understanding, such as myself, the importance of credit. I never messed my credit up. However, I started my credit game late because I felt cash was king. Even if cash is king, even if you have $200,000-$300,000 to buy a $150,000 home, a $200,000 home, that's the worst thing you can do because you're tying up all of your finances. And now you pay for a home, people still don't know who you are. You got to pay for everything cash now. You still, oh, wow, you pay for a home. Now you have to prove how you got this money. Okay, that's easy. You prove that. Now you just spent all your money on this home. You need a vehicle. Or let's say you need to get your fence fixed or AC goes out. But you put all your cash, your capital into this property. Now you have to take out loans to get things fixed. So that's would be the worst decision. So it's always, regardless, I don't care if you have cash, you still need credit, because if you put all of your capital into this thing, there are going to be things that happen within whatever it is that you own. So therefore, that's the worst thing that you could do, obviously, is put all your capital in there. But I'm pretty sure you know that you need credit. And I didn't know that. I was late to the party when it comes to credit. But so many doors will open for you with credit. So even if you have bad credit, they'll still lend you things, just at a higher rate and not as much. However, they still give you an opportunity to build that up. So be responsible. If you don't have credit, go get some credit. Go get you a line of credit. Be an adult, pay it back. Don't take out more than you can chew. Understanding financial literacy, understanding how to budget, understanding, respecting the fact that Someone believes in you enough to lend you something. Pay them back. And you always do that. You pay them back. You be an adult, you pay them back. And that's what you do. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, you know where to come. Bonms, I'm Ross. Until the next time, be an adult. Pay what you owe, and life will open up to you.